Okay. So, yeah. So, well, for the record, I was making excellent points.
Yes,
I was
you were.
speaking very eloquently. I was speaking from the heart. I was doing great. So we forgot to click the blue go live button, which is the pinnacle of mistakes. I mean, I've been doing this for what, like half a year now? Are you trying to get back to move your mouse over to the left? It'll go back to on your other left.
Like,
No, I think other left again.
other.
Yeah, Allie, you feel free to mock me. Yeah, it was gonna happen. I blame calculus. That's what I blame. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. It is a confusing interface.
I did it last week. What? You did it.
Yeah, you just gotta think of this as like a second monitor.
Yeah, I know. I just wasn't working.
Yeah. Grace I have just hit the microphone. Well, we are incredibly competent here. Nothing but.
Should we just restart?
No. We're not going to restart. We're going to start the intro, and then I'm going to act like I'm a complete professional, and this is us starting for the first time. So can we do cold open? Can we give it a cold? That's fine. There we go. All right, we did it. We've got it. At last. Round of applause, everyone. No. That's you're seeing the YouTube thing. That's always a couple seconds behind. Drag the window away, so we can see the windowed projection behind it, and that will show us our live exactly what we're doing. Yep, no worries. Click the window, drag it down. Hey, there I am.
There we go.
Yep. Yeah, actually, you can just click the other window.
I need to go to the dentist.
Well, y'all didn't miss too much. I just made a couple eloquent points. Made fun of the British, as I like to do. They're very easy to make fun of. Welcome to the Ravestream. This is episode 13, and we are going to get rolling, move right along.
I can't get the mouse back.
You can't get the what?
Wait, what?
Just give it some more oomph.
Oh. I'm trying.
Yeah, the mouse is a tricky one.
Okay, thank you.
We should get a cat to help you out. Maybe it'll corner it a little bit better. But welcome to the Ravestream, guys. Before we get started, totally didn't start earlier. We're going to talk about our just an announcement about the Spring Advance video. It's not done yet, and by not done yet, I mean I haven't started editing it. But college happened, and I'm going to hopefully get that out and ready for you all to enjoy on the Ravestream within the next week or two. But yeah, that's all the major announcements I have. I'm sure Rodney probably has some sort of cool event in the works that he hasn't let me know about. But, so stay tuned. Be sure to come back next week and listen for him giving more announcements. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started with our lesson. Our lesson is about Proverbs chapter 4 to be specific. And we're going to be going over cardio and how that impacts keeping pace. You do not. Oh, well, in that case, Rodney not doing his job? No. I didn't say anything. I didn't. No.
That was totally me.
Yeah, that was Grace.
Wait, what? Way better the first time we did this.
I beg to differ. We'll see. All right.
I'm really excited because we didn't have any technical difficulties.
I know. So was I. I was like, oh my goodness, this is going great. And then it was like, oh, you know what's hilarious? I heard my phone calling because I put it on silent, right? And I heard it buzzing, and I was like, you know what? It would be unprofessional of me to look at my phone while I'm giving a lesson this fine evening. You know, it would. Hang on, let me. Where's the camera? It would be unprofessional of me to look at my phone, to allow worldly distractions to keep me from bringing a great lesson. And that's why I didn't check it. If I'd checked it, Rodney would have been like, "Hey, stream's not on. What are you doing?" But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get on with the lesson. And so I think a great way to start it off is I'm just going to read through a section of Proverbs chapter 4. Normally I would read through the entire chapter, but I think we'll just take the last chunk of verses. And we're going to start with verse 20, and I'm going to read through verse 27. So it says, "My son, pay attention to my words. Listen closely to my sayings. Don't lose sight of them. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to one's whole body. Guard your heart above all else, for it is the source of life. Don't let your mouth speak dishonestly, and don't let your lips talk devilishly. Let your eyes look forward. Fix your gaze straight ahead. Carefully consider the path for your feet, and all your ways will be established. Don't turn to the right or to the left. Keep your feet away from evil." Yeah, great passage. As always, one of the highlights, I think, of Proverbs is the metaphors and the similes, because I'm a very metaphorical person. I like going off on tangents and making comparisons that aren't really there. Y'all, calculus has ruined my brain. Okay, we've no, I don't want to do. That's how bad it is. I don't want to do a lesson on math. You could pay me, and I'd say no. I'm not teaching calculus tonight. But yeah, these verses. One of the things that stood out to me, aside from the metaphors, was guard your heart above all else, and that's really important. When we're thinking about running, the race, keeping pace, your heart is essential, because your heart is fueling you. It's ensuring that the oxygen that you're taking in, that your lungs are doing all that work to get, is going where it needs to go, right? It's oxygenating your blood. It's pumping it through your body. Fun fact, that's why taller people apparently die younger, is because... No, that's...
I'm proud to be short.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, like, Rodney is going to live to a ripe old age of 112. That's why he can drink all the Mountain Dew, yes. But yeah, it's because the heart has to pump further. That's why there's... I want to say it was... Oh, shoot. There's this house in Arkansas that's like, "Do you believe it?" or something like that. It's like, "Can you believe that? Wow, look at that." It's got some sort of catchy question title to the house, but they had a picture of a guy that was like 11, 12 feet tall, and he like died around the age of 30 just because his heart couldn't keep up with pushing that amount of blood that distance. Oh yeah, you're gonna live fine, Grace. Don't worry about it. You're also female, which means you live longer too. So.
Allie's also gonna live forever.
Oh yeah, Allie's gonna live forever. She's gonna be like 120 and be like, she's still gonna be doing the scold. She's still gonna be doing it. But yeah, guarding your heart above all else, and that's because we've only got one heart, right? I was telling them earlier, like, you can donate a kidney and you can still be fine. You can have a punctured lung, and yes, you're gonna need medical attention, but you're not in danger of dying immediately. If your heart stops working, if you go into cardiac arrest, Allie, you know what I'm talking about. You do scold. If your heart goes into cardiac arrest, like, you die within 3 minutes. Like, it's a very short amount of time. And so when God is saying, guard your heart above all else, for it is the source of life, that's because it is. Like, that's all you've got. It's essential. Also, I love the verse right after it where it says, don't let your mouth speak dishonestly. I've been saying, no, it is deviously. I've been saying devilishly every single time. Don't let your mouth speak dishonestly, and don't let your lips talk deviously. I think it's Richard Brown here that has the saying that it's got to make it from up here to here, right? And I think it's also true if we look at it from another perspective of what's in here is going to come out here. If you're filling your heart with negative things, with wrong things, with immoral things, eventually that's going to come out. We like to sometimes put on a little bit of a facade, a metaphorical mask, not a literal one. Sometimes both. Oftentimes both. We like to put on that metaphorical mask that just shows, like, I'm all angelic today. Like I'm at church. I'm not, saying anything. Sure. But we put on that little facade. We say, okay, this is who I am right now, and then when I get home, I'm back to normal person. And that's not a great way to live life, especially because if you've got negativity and all of that immorality in your heart, eventually it's going to come out, and it's probably, if you're unlucky, like most people are, it's going to come out at the worst possible moments. You'll be like, oh, well, drat, that had to come out there. Okay. And so it's not a good way to live your life. I also, going on, just segueing, plowing right ahead. The next one is let your eyes look forward, fix your gaze straight ahead. And that ties back into our theme of keeping pace, staying on the path, and running the race. Because to run a race well, one of the things they taught me when I was doing track, this was over a decade ago, long time ago. I did track, yeah. I wasn't very good at it. Better at long jump. One of the things they taught us was, like, do not turn your head while you're racing. Don't look at your opponents, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. You can only go as fast as you can, and you need to be completely focused on running and getting to the finish line as fast as you possibly can. So don't look over there. Don't look over there. Keep looking downfield, down the track, and finish the race. And that applies to our Christian life as well, because oftentimes we'll be doing well, and then something shiny is going to just catch our eye. Sort of like a raccoon, right?
What? You have a problem with raccoons?
I don't have a problem with raccoons. I'm saying raccoons, they do like shiny objects. I mean, you chuck a coin at them, they'll go after it. Same with crackers, but that's for other reasons. But yeah, we have a tendency to get distracted, to be doing so well, and then this one thing trips us up, and now we're off the path.
The Greek legend of Atalanta.
Atlanta?
No. There's the girl. She was the fastest runner in the world, and to win something, this guy had to beat her in a race. And so how he beat her is he kept on throwing golden apples to the side.
I think I remember. Yeah, I think I remember reading that.
Bolt was the fastest.
I also, I think of the tortoise and the hare story.
Yeah.
The hare, like, the hare was clearly faster, but he didn't stay on the path. He got near the finish line and decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a nap, which I understand why he did it, but also, come on, rabbit, like, what are you doing? But yeah, when we're spiritually trying to look ahead, trying to stay on the straight path, that's because, temptations are called temptations for a reason. I'm not going to lie to you, some of them are fun. Like, just like candy is really fun. If you're trying to be on a diet, you're trying to be healthy. Let's be realistic. Mountain Dew is fantastic. It is. And Rodney will back me up on that.
No, it is.
Well, you gave me a look that was like, no, it isn't. No.
It's not that I don't like it. It's really good. I just get so sick every time I have it.
Oh, well, see, you
So I
have
just
an
have a
incentive.
terrible-
Good.
I just have terrible ideas every time.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think about it.
you have a good reason to stay away from it. But we get distracted because the temptations, they're fun in the moment. Also, there's another verse here, verse 27, that mirrors verse 25. Just basically God saying the same thing over again, but in a different way. Don't turn to your right or to your left, but keep your feet away from evil. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that if it's important enough to be included in the same chapter twice and it's the same concept, that means it's important. Not that anything else in the Bible isn't important, but it seems like there's specific emphasis on this. If you are getting off track, it's not going to go well. You're going to have difficulty getting back on the track. In racing, when you've got cars going around the track, there's a part of that track, I believe it's called the rough, that's between the asphalt and the grass. And if you start to get into the rough,
It's very rough.
well, my apologies. I did not mean to do it. Not only does it get rough, as you would say, but the car gets slowed down because there's more friction on it, and as a result, because the car is driving. Okay, little bit of a visual here. Because the car is driving forward, and it's like this wheel is on the rough and this is not. This wheel gets dragged more than this wheel, right? As a result, what happens to the car? The car's got to remain, rectangular. So the car is going to turn more and more into the rough if the driver isn't touching the wheel, right? Because the rough's going to keep dragging at it and pull it in further. And that's, again, another good metaphor for our spiritual life, because we'll, how often have you all heard, well, one lie, it's just one lie. Well, it leads to the next one and the next one. Because you start to get into that rough and you get dragged off a little bit more. And then in verse 26, carefully consider the path for your feet, and all your ways will be established. Okay, I'm just going to open this up to the crowd. If you are going on a hike and you know what the terrain is that going to affect what shoes you take? Yes, it is. If you're running on the beach, you don't need hiking boots. I mean, you don't. You can use flip-flops, you can go barefoot, you can use Crocs, you can do whatever. If you're going to be running on, a track, you probably don't want Crocs or flip-flops. If you're hiking up a mountain, though, you probably don't want tennis shoes or ones that don't have ankle support, right? What terrain you're going on is going to determine what gear you need to go on it, and that means that you have to sufficiently prepare. You have to take the preparation and go forward with that. You have to go into it knowing what path you're going to take. So that's what he means when he says carefully consider the path for your feet, because if you don't, you're going to be like that person that shows up in new tennis shoes and on some sort of mountain trek. Spoiler alert, don't bring new hiking boots on a mountain trek. Why? Because they haven't been broken in yet.
It's gonna hurt.
It's gonna hurt. It's not fun. And considering how your feet are the only thing that's keeping you going, like once your feet start hurting, it's not a pleasant hike.
You have to do handstands all the way up the hill.
I mean, you can do that, but then your arms are gonna start hurting, because I don't think you have shoes for your hands, do you?
You just use your knees.
How?
Knee pads. Knee pads.
It's gonna happen a third time. Watch. I'm going to take, when it falls off for a third time, I'm going to take that as the mandatory cue that it is time to end the lesson. I saw you trying to bump it. You're like, oh, we can end early. But yeah, that's the thing. Whenever you're going on a race, obviously you've got to take the proper preparations. You've got to have that cardio, be prepared for it, be strengthened for it. But if you don't know your path, you're not going to get very far. One of the contentions, if you have siblings and you've ever raced them around the yard, one of the contentions is, okay, where is the finish line? And well, he started ahead of me. You know, all of those, like, this is the reason why I didn't get there first, because the path clearly wasn't defined. And even when it is clearly defined, sometimes there's still arguments.
see, my siblings just have asthma attacks, so I can't race them.
Oh yeah, well.
The Cowboys, and they're like, no, I didn't race you. You should have challenged one.
And see, that is when, instead of doing that, do a sit-up challenge. That's not as cardio intensive, but it's very tiring.
Clayton never wants to do basketball with me because I always win.
You're taller. That's the problem.
No, he's taller than me.
He is?
He is.
Break. Lessons over. Breaking news. Clay is actually taller than Grace, which I did not know.
It was a different one.
But yeah.
Oh, it was both of them. It was Groot.
Two of them did fall down. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up our lesson. Make sure the path is clearly defined. Make sure you've prepared. You've got that cardio, because your heart is bringing all of the life that you have. Is Groot okay? Groot's okay. Okay, Groot's okay. That's good. So yeah, that's gonna conclude our lesson tonight. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We made up for it with our winning charisma. And
it was really good though. Like when we weren't streaming.
Oh yeah,
really
when we weren't streaming, it was great. That was my warm up. And then, you know, I'm like half of all the NBA players. I practice really well, and then I get on the court, and it's like, ugh. I said half. I said half. I'm not dissing on Curry at all. Curry is incredible. No.
If you were good. Wait till later.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and end this stream before we get into a basketball debate, because speaking of sticking foots in mouths, I've already put mine in because Grace is just glaring at me. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. Be sure... Oh, no. We've got one thing left. We've got the video. The McGregor video. All right, Hannah.
My dearest Bartholomew, it has been but a fortnight since I last saw you, and I long for the time when we can be together again. I dream of being in your warm embrace forever, for I desire neither riches, nor fame, nor any of the wonders of the world. Simply your heart, for that alone will suffice. Your loving bride.
My heart. Very well, my dear. If you want my heart, you shall have it. I will give it freely to you, and to you alone. Dearest Angelica, I give my heart to you. That stinks a little bit. Oh! That's not particularly pleasant. Wait a minute.
He fell again, but he didn't fall off the table. Good for you. You're okay. You're okay. Yes, Allie, we did watch this last week, but due to technical difficulties, we felt like showing it again. Just, we figured on a non-technical difficulty riddled episode, we could, play everything and everything would work out. And
Of course, no technical difficulties.
no, there were no technical difficulties.
It was just YouTube.
It was all YouTube's fault. It's like, besides, we intended to start at 7:17 anyway. Like
Yeah,
that's
of course.
that's normal.
Yeah, we can't start on time. What?
Are you kidding? This is a youth group. Nothing starts on time.
We're cleaning.
But yeah, there's another example of why you need a heart. You can't really give it away like that, Bartholomew. Maybe don't perform elective surgery on yourself. Just a suggestion.
And take the metaphors as metaphors.
Yes, take the metaphors. When is he gonna learn? I bet he's got another son that's gonna do something equally dumb.
It said he's followed by Bartholomew the Third.
Bartholomew the Third. What is Bartholomew the Third to do? If y'all have any suggestions for what dumb things could happen to Bartholomew the Third, let me know because I am all ears. And otherwise, I'll just come up with another dumb metaphor. Thank y'all for being here. We're gonna close it out tonight. Anything to add? Anything to subtract? Anything to multiply? Anything to divide? I made the math pun. I'm sorry. Kill it. Kill the stream. Kill it.